What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Nail Yakupov. Now, a lot of people may be wondering, why are you talking about Nail Yakupov right now in the middle of the NHL playoffs? Well, I like these styles of videos that a guy like Mike Korzemba makes, and I've mentioned him on this channel before, and I really like the way he makes videos, and this is my take on kind of the way he makes a video. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Love to have more hockey conversations with you. Join the squad. I'd really appreciate it. On my way to 2,000 subscribers, but let's waste no more time. Let's talk about Nail Yakupov. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about Nail Yakupov is because he's basically been a mystery when it comes to great players that have gone nowhere, unfortunately. Now, he still is very young, but the fact of the matter is, he just looks like a bust at this point. Going into the 2012 NHL entry draft, Nail Yakupov looked like the best prospect available. He had skill, he had speed, he had swagger. People were comparing him to Pavel Bure, and obviously that is a tough comparison because Pavel Bure was pretty good, if you don't know. The Oilers obviously had the first pick, and they were prepared to take Nail Yakupov from the OHL Sarnia Sting. And people from the OHL, and even people I personally know, said that Yakupov, seeing him play live was incredible. He had everything that I mentioned: the speed, the skill, and the swagger. He had it all. He looked like he was ready to come into the NHL and be an effective player. Just take a look at Nail's time in the OHL. In his rookie season, he beat Steven Stamkos' record for goals and points in a season. He had 49 goals, 52 assists, good for 101 points in 65 games. Those are some crazy numbers. Then in his second season in the OHL, in only 42 games, he had 31 goals, 38 assists, good for 69 points. I believe it was because of injury that he missed quite a few games, but if he did play the full season, he was on his way to another monster season. I mean, there was no question that he could play. Again, there was more and more comparisons coming as he was leaving the OHL. He scored a lot of really flashy goals and had flashy celebrations that some people liked and some people didn't. Does that ring a bell? Kind of reminds you of Alexander Ovechkin. Again, another guy that he was compared to. Do you see all these comparisons? First Pavel Bure, then he broke Steven Stamkos' record, and then people were comparing him to Alexander Ovechkin. That is a lot of hype behind one player. So naturally, the Oilers selected Nail Yakupov #1 in the 2012 NHL draft, and the pressure was on for him and the young Oilers team. Now, this was the NHL lockout year, that the beginning of the season started with a lockout, but there was still hockey to be played that year, and Nail Yakupov and the Oilers were on their way to trying to become a good team. This young team had promise and expectations to get better. I mean, they did look pretty good on paper. They had Hall, Eberle, Nugent-Hopkins, Schultz, Petrie, Yakupov, of course, Gagne. The names go on, and this team did have promise. They honestly didn't have that bad of a season that year, but they did place 24th in the entire NHL and had a record of 19, 22, and 7. Clearly not what they wanted to do, but again, look at the numbers for that season. They were a little bit behind, but again, could have been better. As for Nail Yakupov that year, he finished 5th in Calder voting, had 17 goals and 14 assists, and everybody was like, okay, this is a decent rookie season, and quite frankly, to me, I think that that's pretty decent. But again, Oilers fans were looking for more goal scoring, looking for more speed, more skill, and more flashiness, and I can't blame them. He was the first overall pick with a ton of hype. There should have been a little bit more. Unfortunately for Nail Yakupov, this is where the beginning of the end starts for him, and a lot of people will disagree with me, but this would be his best season when it came for points per game. He would never have a better season when it came to those numbers. And that's not good, especially when you're the #1 pick in a draft. Other players selected after Nail Yakupov were having good seasons and continued to have good seasons. Obviously, a mistake that the Oilers are going to regret for a while. Yakupov never really found his way with the Oilers, and that really sucks. But Yakupov would see his highest point total in his career in the 2014-2015 season with 33 points in 81 games. But again, that's not as impressive as his rookie season because he had 31 points in only 48 games. So clearly the points per game doesn't add up. Having 33 and 81, 33 was his highest point total. But again, the games played, it just doesn't match up. The 2015-2016 season, again, was a bad one for Nail Yakupov, and it was time for a change. He wasn't getting the best ice time that he wanted, and he wasn't producing either. So it looked like the Oilers really did make a mistake. And again, I'm not here to just harp on Yakupov and hate on the guy. I like him, but again, this just did not look like the right decision. On October 7th, 2016, the Edmonton Oilers traded Nail Yakupov to the St. Louis Blues, therefore ending his time with the Oilers, getting rid of all of the crap that he wanted to leave it behind, trying to get a fresh start. The trade was for Zach Pachiro, could be saying that wrong, and a conditional third-round pick, and the condition on the pick would be that it would turn into a second-round pick if he scored 15 goals with the St. Louis Blues that season. And that didn't happen. Like I mentioned, he didn't do much with the St. Louis Blues, having 9 points in 40 games. His time there was short, and he was on his way to the Colorado Avalanche. That gave him a shot on a one-year deal, and he had 16 points in 58 games and obviously did not play in the playoffs this year. So his time with the Oilers wasn't very good. He was putting up some points, but not #1 pick points. Goes to St. Louis for a fresh start, did not get it, did not play good enough to stay in their lineup. And then he went to Colorado, again, did not play good enough to stay in their lineup. Had a hot start with Colorado, but it didn't work out, and we're here now. I don't know if he's signed yet when you're watching this video, but nothing seems to be going right for Nail Yakupov so far in his career, and that really sucks because, again, I do like the guy. The point of this video isn't to bash Nail Yakupov. I keep saying it. I really like him. I like the Oilers. People may think that just because I cheer for a certain NHL team that I can't talk about other ones and at least give constructive criticism. The Oilers made a bad decision on Nail Yakupov. It just didn't work out. I don't want to mention every single name because there is quite a lot. And again, this is on scouting. At the time, Nail Yakupov looked like the best. And maybe some players didn't grow to their full potential, of course, when they were going into their draft year. But I'm going to mention some players that could have been selected by the Oilers #1. But again, I keep saying it. The hype was there for Yakupov. I cannot blame them for taking him #1. But let me just list you guys some names. So at #2, Ryan Murray was selected. At #3, Alex Galchenyuk was selected. At #4, Griffin Reinhart was selected. You could argue with some of these guys so far that it doesn't really matter. Morgan Rielly at 5, Hampus Lindholm at 6, Matthew Dumba at 7, Derek Pouliot at #8, Jacob Trouba at #9, Slater Koekkoek at #10, Philip Forsberg at #11, Mikhail Grigorenko at 12, Radek Faska at 13, Zemzins Girgensson at #14, Tom Wilson at 16. I'm just trying to name some off. Teuvo Teravainen at 18, Hurdle at 17, Oli Mata at 22, Malcolm Subban at 24. There's a lot of guys. You could keep going. And again, I'm going to forget some because I'm just literally reading off guys. You could go into the second round. You can go into the third round. There's names everywhere here that would have looked better for the Oilers right now. But at the time, Nail Yakupov was the guy that everybody wanted to get. He was the guy that everybody thought should go #1. How can you really blame the Oilers at this point? Like I mentioned, it's hard to look at these points now and criticize them, but you kind of have to. The points are there. The scouting wasn't there. You have to take chances on other players, and sometimes you have to take chances even at #1. Yakupov looked like the guy. He didn't turn out to be the guy. There's a lot of other guys that could step into the Oilers organization at that point and do a better job. Some of these players just took longer to bloom out and get better. You can't blame them at this point. They took their shot. They missed, unfortunately. Who knows if any of those guys selected after Yakupov would even work in Edmonton. Unfortunately, I think a lot of them would. But that's an if. We don't know. So let me know what you guys think about this style of video. I like doing these styles of videos. There's probably more coming up. And yeah, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. Love to have more hockey conversations with you. Hopefully by the time you're watching this in the future, I'm already at 2,000 subscribers. But if I'm not, please help me get there. I'd really appreciate that. Lots of videos and streams coming up. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.